Welcome everyone to the Island Life podcast, where we journey onto the island of discovery to relive some of the best and worst moments of Survivor. My name is Will, an experienced Survivor fan, 49 seasons deep, and I will be your guide. And joining us on this adventure is our rising Survivor fan with 15 seasons under her belt, Edge.
Hello.
And of course, we also have our Survivor newbie, the brand new Survivor fan who just finished his 8th season of the show. I give you Survivor F.
How's it going, everyone? Survivor F here.
As we continue fans versus favorites, and we saw some damage to the to the favorites this time around. Some craziness. I mean, I'm gonna leave it to you two. Where do you want to start on the insanity that we just witnessed?
There's a lot of layers here going on. There's been a lot of layers in the last 2 episodes we saw. The stick? Can we just talk about that? The giant stick that was being used was
AKA
wild.
the fake hidden immunity idol. Yeah, that's a good starting point.
It was crazy to see, like, he's serious. He's like dead. Like, he is like dead serious. Like, I got the idol. Like, don't worry, man. I got you, girl. Don't you even worry. I got the idol. And it's like that moment of like everyone's just like that. She's Eliza. He's just like excited for him. Like, oh my gosh. And then when she sees it, she's like, it's a stick. And he's like, yeah. And like he literally
It's
is
an
like, yes.
effing stick.
Yes. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, there's a face. It's real. Like what is happening?
Yeah, tons of conversations surrounding the stick this episode. I would say this sequence of episodes, so not just this episode, but the next episode we'll get into as well. These were some pretty entertaining episodes. But just for some context, the stick that we're talking about is the fake hidden immunity idol that Ozzy had set up, that Jason ended up finding, incorrectly assuming it actually is the real thing, even though it just looks like some shoddy stick that, you know, most people with a good eye could probably figure out is not a hidden immunity idol. And as Andrew's describing, that was Eliza's reaction to looking at the stick. What happened in the episode was Eliza is willing to work with Jason, so Jason ends up disclosing to her that, hey, I have the hidden immunity idol, and, you know, like, we could work together and try to see if we can make something out of this. And that was her first reaction to him actually revealing the stick to her. So just a lot of different directions this episode could have taken, and it just made it a pretty entertaining episode. You know, I recall thinking that, like, earlier in the episode, it would have been very funny if we just went through an entire sequence of events and Jason ends up being a really strong contender and ultimately never has to even show anyone this fake hidden immunity idol, believing himself to have it the entire time and just never needing to use it. I think that would have made it for a pretty entertaining season for Survivor. But alas, the stick does come out this episode, and unfortunately, it does not work for the person who is trying to use it.
Listening to both of you over the last several episodes, it's like, surely Jason, he doesn't really think it is right. And it's okay. And then eventually it's like, okay, maybe he thinks it, but like, he wouldn't actually try to use this, right? And then eventually it's like, nope, he's just 100% certain. He's ready to change the game with this.
I think,
Poor
honestly,
Eliza.
we could just straight up say, not even with this episode, the next one too, Jason is extremely gullible. And, like, that is going to end up becoming a big weakness, obviously, if others can exploit it. But it's just fascinating that you're seeing how gullible he is over these next 2 episodes.
I mean, how much do you hold against him? Like, how much of a mistake is it to be convinced that was an idol? Like, you know, to be devil's advocate here, he follows clues on Exile Island correctly.
Yes.
discovers a hidden object that's there, and it has unnatural markings, like smiley faces don't appear in the wild, so it is a man-made something. Yeah, but do you give him any benefit of the doubt here?
That's a great question. I feel like I would if he just was not a fan. I feel like if you're someone just entering the show blind, not really knowing anything about Survivor, I would give you the benefit of the doubt. I feel like this is something where I probably would have made the same mistake if I was in his shoes, but I would have made that mistake if I wasn't familiar with Survivor. I've seen how some of these idols look like, and I mean, they all have their own shapes, but it's like we don't see them this handcrafted it in such a shoddy way that it's like it just comes across like very obvious this is not a hidden immunity idol. If you've even watched like a season or two and generally know what they look like, there is some craftsmanship to them that was so clearly missing from this hidden immunity idol because lo and behold, the person who ends up making it is using it, using makeshift tools and things like that. So obviously it's not going to be as polished as like an actual hidden immunity idol. I think if you're perceptive enough, which most people would be, and I would assume super fans should be, I feel like he should know better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you were a proclaimed super fan, if you are new, then yes, I think that's like you make sense of it because you're like, oh, I was told there's something called an idol. I don't know what it looks like. No one's ever described it. I never watched it. It makes sense, but have seen it before. Have we had a stick in the past? I mean, I'm not that many seasons in the older stuff. So maybe there was something like a stick and a smiley face, but I kind of doubt it. So the fact that he still believes it is just it's hilarious. It's so funny, and it's funnier that the fact that he calls out, like, "Ozzy probably already got it, guys, like, there wasn't anything," which is true, but he don't even know that.
Yeah, and to be clear, it's not like this is like the first, like, it's not like the previous season is the first time there's ever been an idol. There's been 5 seasons, or before this season, with idols. So, if you've been watching, you should have an idea of what they look like, and they don't look like that. Now granted, I mean,
Clearly.
there's a first time for everything, so, like, it wasn't impossible, uh, but, I mean, the most damning evidence is that when sharing the information and showing, 'cause it is weird, like, I guess it's fine, but he wants to give the idol to Eliza, but rather than, like, he go gets it himself and, like, passes it to her, he's like, "This is where it's hidden. Go, like, get it yourself secretly." And I don't know, maybe there's some pros and cons to that, but because of that, she's by herself, digging it up, looking at it, and in, like, 2 seconds is like, "This isn't it. This is not
Yes.
this can't be it. This
He
is a
knew right
stick."
away. But the thing is that, like, as a benefit of the doubt, maybe he knows it's not real. Like, that's why he gives it away so easily. Could it be? Or maybe that's just how he is as a person, which we can tell on the other episode. He could just give up immunity for his teammates to get food, but I guess not teammates, his competitors, I guess his fellow tribe mates, to get food. So like I could see him doing that just out of the kindness, goodness of his heart. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like if it's truly a immunity idol, would you just give it away? Like you're not that far, you know? You're not top 4, top 5. I would want to keep this for as long as I can. One win doesn't mean anything, I might be alive this time, but not next time. So the fact that he so easily is like, if I win, I'm giving it away. I'm shocked, but maybe that's just how good of a person he is, or he knows it's fake and he's like, let the games begin.
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes to what I'm saying. Like it's just it gives him like this air of just he's just very gullible in that a bunch of different things. He's not really thinking through what he's doing, and he's not looking beyond maybe the tribal today, or whenever there's another tribal, is he just going to be in the same spot, or how is he going to have to navigate that? And in some sense, he's probably just confident in being able to win in challenges, but realistically, it's much easier said than done. And, he himself described himself as being as part of the outs. So he doesn't have a majority that he can feel confident in, that they have his back. It does call into question some of his motives for the next couple of episodes.
I choose not to give him benefit of the doubt. I highly doubt he thought it was fake, especially because he votes for Ozzy. Like, he thinks this is gonna work. And had it been real, I mean, this is a legendary moment. That is everybody except you two voting for Eliza. All those votes being stopped, and then getting out Ozzy. I mean, we'll see. I mean, you guys know it's a huge, impactful moment if you do that. So I think he definitely thought it was the idol, and the reason he's willing to use it is because this is actually probably a positive to him. Like, I think it is a long-term strategy. This is, if we get out Ozzy now, that shatters the favorites alliance. I'm already with one of the favorites now. Then the fans can get together and we go from there. Like it's the hope. It's like his best chance to get to the majority. Because if not, then he'll just permanently be on the outs. But that's probably the only praise I'm going to give to Jason tonight, because a lot of what he does not seem like the greatest decision making.
Well, what about his what he does in the challenge? I feel like that itself should be part of the praise right there. He had
That's
very
fair.
impressive
That's fair.
win against Ozzy in this episode, in a water-based challenge, no less.
Yes. So the immunity challenge in episode 9. I'll check on in present day it's called Last Gasp. I'm gonna assume it was called that back then too. This actually is a reoccurring challenge, so it's happened more than once. This is brutal. This is, you're all gonna be in the water. There's gonna be like a grate above you. Like, imagine like you're trying to break out of prison, but instead of the bars being in front of you, they are like above you. And we're just gonna leave you there. And as the hours go by, the tide will rise, and so you'll have less space between your face and the air, like the grates, until we're at high tide and there is no more space, and then you just drown. Is what it looked like. Like, what did you guys think of this challenge?
Entertaining, but oh man, this was a brutal looking challenge.
It does look a little rough. I think anything that makes me feel like it's like rough, I'm always like, I'm always like holding my breath.
It's like torture. They're all being waterboarded.
It's
Pretty
terrible.
much.
As someone that
Yeah.
like cannot swim, I can't even imagine. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna drown. I'm gonna die. Yeah, I'm gonna die right now. Cause like, what if you like hold on, hold on, hold on? Like how kids they can't when they're like kids to go show rebellion, they're like, I'm gonna hold my breath. And then, like, they can't because if you do, you pass out. They can't hold their breath, and then naturally, your body passes out to breathe. You can't like it is part of like the autonomic system. So, like, what if you pass out, but in the water and you're breathing water? Ah! Oh my gosh. Water in the nose, water in the lungs. No, thank you. I'm okay. I would have been like, yep, I'm done. Sorry, Jeff. I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, by the end, you see they've got no, so some of them have kind of like their hands cupped to like a tube, as if they're like breathing through a straw. You can see all of them like spitting up water. So like clearly like they're inhaling. Their ears are below the water line. So I mean that can't be great. It doesn't can't feel great. Uh, but it is cool, despite all that. Like, it's a spectacle. Uh, to watch. And it
Yeah,
is Jason who outlasts Ozzy to win this.
yeah, honestly, any of the final 3 all had an impressive run. Jason, Ozzy, even James, they all lasted, if I'm not mistaken, at least an hour. So just got to tip your hat to them. Jason was not expecting that. I was not expecting him to rise above and out of anything beat Ozzy in his own element in the ocean. Ozzy being essentially half man, half dolphin.
Excited.
Yeah, I guess you're right, F. There's some credit for Jason in these episodes because he actually backs up kind of a lot of what he's saying to potentially become this challenge beast here. Uh, and he does win this challenge, and that's what sets up the chain of events with the with the fake idol. But to rewind slightly, so this episode starts with the merge. Everyone's merged. They get letters. It says grab your belongings, go to this like neutral beach, I guess. Which they do get there. They meet up, and then they get to pick what beach you're gonna go back to, which of course is the much nicer beach, the favorite's original beach. And then feast. The main drama is that Parvati is now slightly worried now that she's created more than one alliance, which I found a little odd. But it's not like that happened by accident. Like, you did this. Like, did you not foresee this potential dilemma? Because she's worried, like, oh, well, now that I have Natalie and Alexis, if I don't actually go with them, they'll be mad at me. And now they're going to be at the jury because we're at the merge. Or I could stick with them, but that could mean betraying some of the favorites, and then they're going to be mad at me. And which I think it's a fair concern to have, but again, like, you should have known this as you created this extra plan. And yeah, after you had something.
No, I was just gonna say, woe is me. I have too many options. That was just
Too
the
many options.
immediate thought I had.
I guess the main problem, though, is that when she talks about this to Amanda, Amanda actually does not appreciate being put in a new alliance without being consulted, and is not happy that with the situation, like this situation, that like they might have to betray people now. Well, because I guess from Amanda's perspective, I would have never put myself in the situation. Now Parvati put me in the situation. So this is like the first dissension at all between this main alliance of the favorites.
Indeed. And it's followed up by another interesting sequence where Eliza, who feels like she's on the outs, and rightfully so, she goes in and tries to have a dialogue with Parvati as well. And Parvati doesn't really speak to her in a way that she's trying to build something. You know, she asks like, hey, are we good? Are we, or is it something where we can work together? And Parvati doesn't just say yes or even allude to that. She's like, yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. And it's just that's just so unusual to see in Survivor, is it not? It's like, even if people tend to not be working together, you're so used to them being two-faced about it and at least try to make it sound like they're willing to work together. Unless obviously there is like some really obvious animosity between the two. Like, I don't know, like the Rome and Saul situation. But for the most part, people tend to want to give off the impression that they're going to be willing to work with you, even if they don't internally want to. So I thought that was another interesting sequence in this episode.
Well, how do you think they all did then? And that's so we've got Parvati's handling with Eliza and Amanda. You have Amanda reacting to hearing this from Parvati, and you have Eliza realizing that the person she wanted to align with, Amy's gone. So she's got to change her plan, and this is what she goes with. So what did you think of each, or I guess who were you most okay with how they handle themselves?
I think in terms of rationality, I did like, despite the fact that Amanda didn't want to join the group, like I can understand why she's hesitating. So I think she played it the best in that she wasn't trying to just create conflict out of nowhere. She heard the other person out, that being Parvati. Parvati is playing a very risky game here. She's kind of overextending her hand and, playing a lot of sides. And we've seen people get eliminated due to that in the past. Not the past season, but like in other seasons we watched. So I'm a little concerned about that. But in Eliza's case, she is like, I don't know if like Parvati's really blowing it out of proportion like from her side, but based on my surprise by her response to Eliza, like yes, they did have a disconnect when they first grouped together, but it's like I would have thought that Eliza would have understood a little bit better who she should be collaborating with, and based on her and Parvati maybe not hitting it off right away, she might not have been the first person she should have tried to approach. So I think between all the ones that we saw, at least, I like Amanda's reaction, and hers was mainly just a reaction. She wasn't really initiating anything, but I saw the best. I saw the best like way to communicate and handle a situation the way Amanda did it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. And what'd you think of your one half of your winner picks, Amanda, in this situation?
I think I get what she's saying in regards to not wanting to be in a new team. I think Amanda is stuck on the original, the original for like her Ozzy, Parvati, and James. Like that's a strong group to go with. I think even James is on that route too. Like that's where we're going with versus I think Parvati is trying to play different fields, trying to figure out like which one's best for her game versus Amanda's trying to play a safe game, which is very like her in China. She plays safe versus Parvati likes to play with everything. She likes to like put like little feelers everywhere.
Yeah, I was about to respond too. Like that tracks for Amanda because in China, Fei Long dominated, and for a lot of the post merge stayed together. Like the only times that they didn't, like they got rid of Jean Robert, so good riddance. And I don't remember if anyone else from their tribe got taken out until it was just them left.
You got to
That's
wonder
what
though,
I
is
think.
that
Or
is
well,
that
actually,
the
James. I take it back. Sorry, they Amanda herself does blindside James, so that is slightly contradictory to the point I'm making. But besides that, that one group stayed together.
and this is a very minor nitpick on my part, but I just proposed the question. Do you think that's necessarily the right approach? And to be fair to her, their season just ended and they immediately got called back for a separate season because these are in succession. But I would think for Amanda, unfortunately, she didn't win her season, but she did, like, what, she was second and
No, she was third because they
third.
voted for Courtney more than her.
Court. Oh yeah, Courtney. Uh, yeah, she made it to the final three, and that just causes you to wonder, like, is it a situation where she didn't win it, but like, is using the exact same strategy necessarily the best approach? So I got to wonder, what is your take on that? Do you think so? Let's start with you, Ange. Do you think that if she's playing the exact same game this season, would you be comfortable with her because she is your winner pick?
Yeah. I no, right now I feel I'm a little worried for her after these two episodes. I think she's playing very safe, and I don't think that in the world full of in the game full of fans and like like people that are favorites of Survivor, I don't think she would get the respect to win Survivor. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I feel like
Yeah.
Amanda's just been kind of there, and unfortunately I feel like I got to switch her out because I think she's next or she's one of the people to go.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, it's always interesting if someone comes back to play again. How do they change their game, if at all? Because it's easy to say, like, if you didn't do well, or like, let's just say, like, you made it halfway. Well, clearly it wasn't good enough. You want to change. But if you actually did make it as far as you can go, as Jeff likes to say, then it is harder to pin down what you should change. Like Ozzy, for example, made it as far as you can go, losing by one vote at Final Tribal. So therefore, how much of his game does he need to change? You could argue.
Well, I
Amanda's
mean, I would
similar. I mean, she got to
I
the
would
end.
I would propose the same question even if it was Ozzy. I think the takeaway for me here is really that even if they're second, even if they're third, ultimately they didn't win. So, like, does it mentally affect them in a way that, like, okay, maybe they still do need to change something? Like, if you are that contestant, are you comfortable playing the exact same game knowing you made it to the final three?
Probably it's like the further you got, the more of your game stays the same. But you definitely, hopefully, you've identified what caused you to lose at whatever point you lost, and you have a plan in mind of how you're gonna adjust to that. Um, Now, Amanda, like if you a case study for Amanda, why did she lose? Well, because in the end, people thought that between her and Todd as a duo, Todd was more actually involved in the decision making. And then at Final Tribal, Todd owned that and didn't like apologize and didn't make up or rather not that he didn't apologize, but he didn't try to claim that he didn't betray people. He did. He he patronized the John Robert, which worked out, etc. So if you're Amanda, I guess the one thing you would change is like I got far by being part of a powerful alliance and a powerful duo, but I needed to be more of the one in control, and so far that has not happened on this season. Although now she has no duo anymore, so good thing? Question mark. Unknown. I guess this would be like if Todd got voted out earlier. Would that have been better for Amanda or not? That's like the comparison, I guess I would make. It's unclear. I don't know.
It is. It's hard. I mean, it's not like a clear cut like guideline, you know, like if this person that, then this would not that. Like it's just way more complex than that. But I could just say like I feel like Amanda's game right now is not like I feel like she's done better than her China game. I think she's trying more and she's like making conversations, but she's always like the backseat person. The person that's like, "Oh, okay," or like, "Yeah, I don't like that." Like just agreeing with that other person. Rather it be Cirie, James, Ozzy, Parvati, it's always someone else making it and she's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I guess." It's like, "Okay, that's not giving winner material. Sorry."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes this so interesting in that, like, in your eyes, she's playing a better game than she did in the previous season. In the previous season, she made it to the final three. In fact, she was even more memorable to me than I straight up even forgot Courtney was in the final three. That, like, it's one of those
No, you
things
can't. You
that
can't forget Courtney, the New York City waitress who surprised she was
I
even on the show.
honestly, like half the times, like I just saw her doing poorly in challenges. But yes, so like I think it's interesting because like if your take on it is that she's doing even better, but like there's concerns with her here, that's what makes it interesting, right? It's that like even if they make it all the way to the end, but just aren't necessarily the winner, like there's always some thing that they have to do to adapt, right? Like even the question with Todd, what makes it so hard to predict is if she stays the course, then she probably would get eliminated sooner. But like you can't say that because she might adapt in a way that you're not aware about. So it's all interesting hypotheticals that can make for some interesting scenarios. You know, there's multiple pathways depending on how each season goes. Sometimes you get a 50-50 vote where the entire season could have flipped if it went the other way. And, you know, if we all believe in those alternate universes, where that's how the show turned out, you would have someone like maybe John Robert win it all, right? In Survivor China.
I don't know what
But
alternate universe that one is, but
in one of them,
I don't know. That's not one of my multiverses, F. Don't effing say that.
it would happen in a multiverse where sexual harassment is appreciated. He would get
Oh
top
my
marks.
goodness. My jaw dropped. Roll over to Micronesia.
well, just F so you can like picture Courtney again. I have to just play one of the great Courtney clips.
Okay.
Boo challenges. Yay feast.
The legend.
Yeah.
I will never forget. Yeah, I'll go talk about Amanda. Parvati, you know it's weird. You know how sometimes we watch a final tribal, so at the end of the season, and we're like, this person, we love their moves, but the jury isn't appreciated for whatever reason, whether it's a bitter jury or they just disagree, and it's kind of a disconnect. I feel that way for Parvati, where last time we talked, we all loved what she did by creating this extra alliance that she could do with as she pleases. And it made sense that she would include Amanda in it. And yet, her ally Amanda actually does not appreciate it and actually is kind of mad about it. Like you said, F, she does cover it. She does hide this. She does not like suddenly start yelling at Parvati or anything. Um, so kind of weird. And I it kind of is moot because of what happens in the next episode she'll talk about. But um, yeah, that's how I felt. It's like good move, but then like an unexpected backlash that I would not have expected to have happened. So that's what I thought about the Parvati thing.
I don't know about that. I feel like I can understand Amanda's position here because put yourself in her shoes for a second. Someone is speaking on your behalf and they don't know how you plan to play the game or your intentions. Like, I don't think a lot of people would appreciate that. You know, even if like that might be the move she's doing, okay, in that case, then she probably wouldn't. But she doesn't know how Amanda wants to play her game, right? And it's not something Amanda can fully disclose to her, like honestly, because that's going to involve eliminating Parvati herself. So that's what I meant by like Parvati is kind of just overplaying her hand, and it is a little worrisome right now that, you know, like she was looking a lot better in the last two set of episodes. These two episodes, yeah, she's taking a lot more heat than I thought she would have, and I think it's because she's setting herself to be a person who's just playing the middle, and that is always a dangerous game. And just her conversation with Amanda, like I just felt like talking down on Eliza, like regardless of how you feel about her, like there's a certain level of cockiness that just came across from her conversation. And then you're just speaking to Amanda as though you're in charge of her decisions and you're deciding on her behalf that she's going to join this other tribe. Like, why not just have her input first? Like, don't assure people something without even involving someone else if you don't know what they're thinking. I just feel like that's not a lot of people would actually appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree. She's not doing a great some of the social games is not as great as you would expect from her, but at the same time I do see that she's actually the only person that's making conversation with the girls from the fans aspect, which becomes a concern from James and Amanda.
Yeah, yeah, I guess I see your points. Like obviously she could not have consulted Amanda because she wasn't there. Like wasn't on the tribe. And if this is something that Parvati wanted to do, she had to do it before the merge because then after the merge, who knows what's going to happen? Um, I guess she probably just figured, of course, Amanda would want to do that because Amanda would definitely like betray like James and Ozzy and work with us because like girl power. So
Ugh.
maybe Parvati has misjudged this about Amanda.
And I mean,
I
that's a,
love the girl power, but that never works. Girl power, boy boys fest, I don't know. It's just never works.
sausage fest.
I was gonna say that, but I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm glad you did. It just never works. It just betrayal's definitely happening. Like that is
It's
like
so funny.
one thing you could put in your survivor bingo.
I think it was like the very first season I watched. You guys both mentioned that like, oh, like if they're talking about like splitting up the guys and the girls, that never works.
Oh
And
yeah.
I just remember that, like, oh man, this must happen like so frequently that like there's obviously a pattern here with this sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that season 46 it was like the baker or something like that, or I don't know.
The breadwinners
Breadwinners, yes, the
for
breadwinners.
47.
Yes, yes,
47.
47. Oh my gosh. And then boom,
Yeah.
breadwinner's gone.
Yeah, it's true. And then who else we mentioned? Oh, Eliza. I mean, for Eliza, she's just about out of options anyway. It does feel like this was one of the worst people you could have tried to go to. But then again, like it would just like if she had gone to Ozzy, I don't think this would have gone better. Or James, or Amanda. So I mean, I actually had to pick somebody. And maybe the thought is, well, I know that Parvati is a strategic player, at least this season. So maybe like she'd be on board if I propose something. Whereas like Ozzy, as far as I know, is just loyal forever, so he would never talk to me. So maybe there's some thought process there. It clearly doesn't work. The only saving grace, or so she thought, is that she has built a rapport, if not an alliance, with Jason, and credit for Eliza, because that goes so well that Jason's prepared to use the idol for her. If only it hadn't been an effing stick.
Mhm.
then, then maybe things would have gone better. I think that's the main things from this episode. The only thing I noticed as like the omniscient viewer and knowing what was coming in the next episode, there are some like scenes of Cirie just like everyone's like happy. We are just merged, and Cirie's like, yeah, everyone's happy now. She's like biding her time, letting everyone.
What about
Who to
one
take
of the
out next?
coldest lines? We had one of the coldest lines in Tribal too by I forget the girl with the blonde hair's name, who was talking to Eliza and was referring to her in
yes,
past tense.
Alexis?
Alexis,
Yes.
yes.
And what did she say?
She was referring to her in like past tense as though she was already going to
Oh
be
yeah,
eliminated.
yeah,
Very
like
Yes.
like because I think they're like asking qualities, and like Eliza had like she played a great game of like that type of stuff,
Yeah.
and Jeff
No.
catches it, and Alexis doesn't catch it, and Eliza definitely catches it.
Yeah, she's like, "What? Like, what did I say? Like, what's going on?" And then she's like, "You make it seem like I'm leaving." Like, it's just, and she was like, she looked upset. Like,
That was
and
cold.
I know. Oh, I gotta before I forget that moment. Was it Alexis like cuddling in with Ozzy? I'm like, oh my
Yes.
gosh!
Yes.
Like it's
Which,
night one,
I
and
mean,
that's why.
that's probably another reason why Amanda's reluctant to join their group.
That's true. It's like touch
Could
my
be.
man. Ain't gonna work with
Maybe
you.
maybe the number one reason now that we think about it.
It could
Survivor
be.
home wrecking season? Question mark.
But and I understand. I mean, this has been happening for as long as humans have had relationships. But wouldn't you think your anger should be directed at Ozzy
For
versus
real.
the random person who might not even know about you two like hanging out?
No, for sure. Because yeah, she might not have known. Like, how would you know if you're not part of the tribe? You wouldn't have seen their dynamic. But the fact that Ozzy's Ozzy's a player. Ozzy might be Poseidon. I don't know how Poseidon is in mythology, but he's a player. He gets the girls. He's a
Okay, or
cheater.
maybe
No, maybe
controversial
just
opinion.
oh.
It could be that Amanda didn't actually take issue with that and was actually calling out Ozzy, but they just cut it because it wasn't creating enough drama.
I mean,
I won't say
that
you're
drama.
wrong. I don't. Maybe
she did talk a lot about not wanting Alexis. I think she tells Cirie like, "I need her to go. Like, I need her to be gone now."
But maybe it was for
Stat.
different reasons than we're led to believe.
Maybe.
The way they're editing it is making it seem like that's the reason.
I'll give it a 1% chance.
Okay.
But maybe
Less
but
than
maybe
1% or 1% chance.
1% chance.
Okay.
Not less than 1%. Yes. So new rivalry unlocked between Amanda and Alexis. You're right. Probably another reason why she doesn't. Not that again, Parvati could not have predicted that part of this, but another reason why she doesn't want to be part of this. And as for Alexis at Tribal Council, there's only one defense I can have for Alexis. Eliza did play already. It is possible Alexis's words were in reference to her previous season, hence being in past tense. Maybe.
Keep in mind,
Maybe.
it was Jeff who called it out. I don't even think I would have noticed it if Jeff didn't
Me
say something.
neither. Jeff like comes out. How Jeff's got good ears, or someone else is listening. And
Jeff
be
wants
like,
all
ask
that
about
smoke.
what you
He
mean.
wants that
Yeah,
drama.
for sure. Jeff is like, give me some popcorn. I'm ready to watch this.
But Eliza attempts to use the effing stick. Jeff goes into the same spiel from China, which is basically when an idol is played, this is how it works, and then the next highest person goes. This is not an immunity idol.
I hate that, man. I hate that buildup because it's like the way he's like building into it. He could like he's taking so long to just say, yeah, it's not the immunity. Like, come on, guys. We all know it's not that. Like, just say it. Like, why are you building it up to make it seem like, okay, you might consider the possibility of just accepting the thing?
You know,
It's like we're at the end of the episode, Jeff. Like,
yeah,
you don't gonna like drag anything else out.
that's true. I would say, I didn't notice a lot of people like laughing, chuckling, or even shocked seeing the idol. Like, I don't know. I felt like the reaction was pretty dull.
Ozzy
for me.
himself was like holding back, like he was smiling, had his hand over his face.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone else didn't react a whole lot, for what was going on.
Yeah, definitely not the same when Jamie from China played that idol, and everyone was laughing at her. So
Yeah,
it
that
was
was pretty
definitely wasn't on that level. Jeff tosses it in the fire.
Oh.
Ozzy's like, "Come on, Jeff, I worked hard on that." And it is 8 votes against Eliza. Eliza and Jason vote for Ozzy, and Eliza is voted out. Do you wish to see Eliza again? And if it was a future season?
Nope.
No. I didn't see much of her, honestly. I feel like a lot of her game has been just fighting against Parvati, and I just don't see anything, like any good plays personally. So I don't care to see her again.
It all went wrong in the beginning of being on the Jonathan Penner Alliance, which has now been wiped
Yeah.
out.
Took out so fast.
Now this is a returning player, so this being the first time you saw her, would you be interested in her original season, which was season 9?
Interestingly
I'm
enough, oh yeah, you go.
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, usually I would say yes because they got to come back, for a reason. Interestingly enough, she hasn't really given me a bigger reason for me to watch her old season. So she's gonna be a no for me.
Yeah, it's also gonna be a no for me, dog. Yeah,
Oh.
I think like the way she's describing herself and the way that other people perceive her, she just said that everyone's always annoyed by me, which tells me that that was her, like that was how people perceived her in the previous season she appeared in as well.
Oh, I didn't even pick that
So
up, F. Nice one.
I would think that like, if it's a personality type of a player that I'm not too fond of, then I wouldn't really care ultimately. So usually I'm also willing to give it a shot, but I agree with you there, Ange. She didn't come across as like entertaining where it's like, yeah, I want to see what happens in the original season.
Very well, very well. I forget what I said last time we talked. At some point that season we'll encounter it. Like I'm not like blacklisting it or anything. So we'll
Oh,
get
I
to
could
it
tell you what you said. You had mentioned that if you had a winner pick that you would go all in for Eliza.
all
Oh
in for
yeah, for
Eliza.
sure.
I mean, remember, Jeff never said the words returning winner or not returning winner. As far as you know, any of these people that you hadn't seen yet could have been the winners of their season. Maybe.
Honestly, I feel like if anyone, it might be Yao Man, like the way that they're describing him. But anyone else so far, I'd
They
be
just can't stop talking about him. They
surprised.
all revere Yao Man.
Oh, he was a slay.
So that brings us to episode 10. Oh, by the way, so episode 9 was called I'm in Such a Hot Pickle, which was Parvati's describing her situation. The 10th episode was called I Promise ... This is like these two episodes are like the Jason show because he had the fake idol and everything and wins a challenge and then has drama at this challenge. But despite that, the main event of episode 10 is the blind side of Ozzy.
You know what? That's what you get for being a cheater.
My first question
what
is, Ange, how do you feel now that it is confirmed that F persuaded you to stick with Ozzy to your doom?
You know, I was thinking that for that moment. I was like, "Wow." I'm like,
What?
"Yes, you're right."
Oh,
And
yeah.
F was like,
Took
"You
me a-
haven't. He has an idol," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're
It
right."
took me a second to realize what you were
And
saying.
then I stuck with Ozzy, and I was like, survive another day. You know, you can do it. You can do it. And he was so close, so
Well,
dang close.
To be fair, I was saying I wasn't trying to sway your opinion. I was just
But
reminding you that
did,
you said you
F.
were worried about him. I was just reminding you that he had an idol.
I had an inkling, and you took it away. No, I'm kidding. F sabotage
I'm
me.
very surprised by his, like, him getting, well, I wasn't expecting him to win, but like I am surprised that he got eliminated. It's not really quickly at this point, but like I'm surprised post-merge he got eliminated this quickly.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
I'm shocked.
it is a change from a lot of the post-merge we've seen ends up being bigger group, let's stick together and whittle down the others. And if there was going to be a season where that would happen, you'd think it'd be all the favorites sticking together. And not only did they vote out one of their own the previous episode, but now they this could have crazy implications for the rest of the season with Ozzy out, the idols out first of all. This means that Cirie and Parvati have blindsided Amanda because they didn't tell her about this, and James too. James is not aware, so he doesn't vote. So who knows what this means going forward? Um, I mean, I understand that this plan wasn't directly from the fans, but this would seem to be great for Natalie, Alexis, Eric, and Jason.
For sure. That's a big win for them. Slowly but surely, the fans' favorites are dwindling.
Well, Eric is like devastated. He just lost like his father figure, right?
Oh my gosh. Oh right. Did
But
Eric vote for Ozzy or did Eric vote for
He
wait,
voted
who
for
did
Jason.
Eric vote? He voted for Oh my gosh, Eric. The little boy. He was with Ozzy. And
Even
he
though he's, like,
even like
the exact
promised
same age.
to like, Papa, I will let you know if anybody comes for you, Papa. Oh
And
my
actually, that leads to
gosh.
probably the most interesting segment in this episode where they get their challenge win. But it would like even again, just kind of backtracking to like I was genuinely surprised with Ozzy's elimination here because it's not that like he's getting the votes. I thought like at this point he would be using the idol, which he didn't.
James get flashbacks of what happened to his season.
Yeah.
He's like, oh.
Why didn't James have
Yeah,
that pep talk with him? Like I don't get that.
Yeah. I thought he would use it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was
I
gonna
did
use his
too.
idol.
Because like
And then
if you
when
were
he
paying
did it, I'm
attention
like,
to the
"What are you
last
doing?"
2-3 episodes, he's been getting votes like every single episode. He's just not the person getting eliminated.
Is it
So
the
you would
one
think at
weakness
some
of
point-
Ozzy of just believing in alliances too much because I talked how Fei Long and China stuck together mostly. Well, Ozzy's group stayed together entirely. That was the I-24 that
Mm-hmm.
stuck together all the way from the mutiny to the end of the game, to the final four. So,
And then
this
remind
is
me
another
again,
case of not changing the
Ozzy
strategy.
was he didn't win his season. Was he second or third? I forget him too.
Ozzy was the runner-up to Yule
Second. Okay.
because that was the in the final four, which was their alliance. They force Becky and Sundra into a fire making, which goes horribly, and Jeff, embarrassed for the show, has to like give them matches. This is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, I think it's Becky. It's Becky. It's a final three, but Becky doesn't get any votes, and then it's Ozzy with one less vote to win than Yule. So just about as far as you can go without winning for Ozzy.
And actually, again, that question bears repeating then, but just because we kind of see it play out further in this episode, in that it doesn't matter how far you get if you don't necessarily win. Do you try to play the same game? And could it be that potentially if Ozzy was trying to play that same game here, as you seem to be alluding to, Will, that's what would have led to his downfall?
Yeah, maybe. What differences could Ozzy have done? Because at the end of the day, he just assumed, yep, alliance is good. We're gonna get out Jason.
I would argue that he could have played more defensively. Like he just felt so assured of himself in certain areas, which is good. It's good to have confidence, but like do not let it get into the realm of cockiness, right? Like if you have he had a good spot and he had an idol. He had a level of protection he could have used on himself. He was we didn't see him actually connect with Amanda again after they connected back into their tribes. So that kind of stuck out to me, that like he didn't, like he was spending time with Alexis, but he didn't, like, was he talking to Amanda again? It didn't seem like they were actually like coordinating anything after that, which
The
is
only
odd
time
considering.
was on not the previous episode, but on this episode at the reward challenge. Not the challenge, the reward itself. They were just cuddling. I think that's the only time I saw it.
Well, they just happen to be on the same team, so that like that's par for the course there. But it's just that stuck out to me, that like the relationship that he built with her prior to like these episodes, we didn't really see too much of it. In fact, we saw the opposite. We saw him kind of turning away from that. And that's what you got to wonder. Like, that's the concern currently I'm seeing with Parvati as well. But for hers, like you're seeing her going out and talking to people. And with Ozzy, it's very much the same thing. He's going out and forming a new relationship and forming arguably a new number one. Like, I'm pretty sure he said to Alexis something along the lines of like, I wouldn't mind if I made it to the very end with you. Right. Like, and it just goes.
He was saying like I wouldn't mind seeing like someone else go before you, which is it's a vague way. That's like lawyer trading speak. He didn't say I want to go to the end with you, but he is saying like, well, when it's time to vote out a fan, I'd vote out someone else before I vote you out. It's kind of like, is actually how his relationship with Eric started too. It's like, well, I'd like to keep him as long as I can, and at this
Mhm.
point, if like Eric, if Amanda was cool with Eric, then them three would be an alliance. But actually, Amanda sometimes didn't like that Eric was so close to Ozzy. Funny enough, so
And I think
maybe you're right. Maybe Alexis and Ozzy would have developed a similar relationship to Ozzy and Eric.
I think you set up the perspective there pretty well too, right? Like, it's the mindset that Ozzy is on top. And for a lot of people, they do see him on top, but he's not seeing where the dangers could lie there, despite the fact that his name does keep coming up, right? Like, it didn't seem like he was tense at any point about that. Like, we see him upset if he's lost a challenge, but then he's just going back to his old chill ways, and it's like you're not seeing him concerned about, oh, maybe the vote could be me. Maybe I need to be more careful. I do think he mentioned something about potentially needing to use the idol. And that's, again, why I was a little bit blindsided by the fact that, hey, he actually did get eliminated. But uh, this was a very surprising episode for me. And like I said, these two episodes were pretty entertaining. I'm glad we watched these two. They were one of the more enjoyable groups to watch so far.
Yeah, it was exciting till the end. I do think like Ozzy plays his role in this like season where he is the top dog. Like he's a favorite, and I think out of all of them he is a big favorite. I think out of like for me at least, he's my favorite out of all the favorites. And he knows it. He knows he's the most popular. He knows he's very strong. He does his challenges. He is getting the fish. He's getting the food. He is very well liked amongst people, and he builds relationships, like him building a relationship with Eric, him trying to build that relationship with like Alexis, attempting to, and building that relationship with all these people. And I think that's where he gets that his head was too high. Like it was too high up there where he thought he had everything going. I felt like he was like trying to be Godfather, aka Yule, but it just didn't pan that way because they saw right through him. They saw his powers. They saw that he is good, especially Cirie. I feel like Cirie, she is a great winner pick. Like, honestly, I'm like debating it's a Cirie or Parvati right now because I'm like, she makes calls. She's like, yeah, do this. Yeah, do this. She is the chess player, Like, all these guys are pieces and she's the player, which is incredible. Like, Cirie is like, I want Ozzy out. Ozzy's out. Prior episodes, I want this person out. They're out. Like it's incredible. She is really the sole purpose person that got Ozzy out in the first, but like, nope, he doesn't think we're gonna get him. We should get him now. Let's seize this opportunity. In the current meta, that is not a thing. People are too scared to make that. People are too scared to break trust, and we end up doing the status quo. So she go hard. Cirie goes hard. I really like Cirie's play.
You know what the
We
best
just
part of
watched a
that is?
whole
Yep, go ahead, Will.
we just watched a whole season of everyone being too scared
Yeah.
to go against Rizzo for the
Yeah.
entire game. The entire season passed,
And that's
and they never did it.
frustrating. It's so
I
frustrating to
mean,
watch.
yeah. Meanwhile, you're right. Cirie opens this episode being like, "Hey, I spooked." So Cirie, not omniscient, she was spooked by the Eliza fake idol, like wondering, "Oh my gosh, could it have been the real idol?" But then she's like, but if it had been real, then Ozzy would have been gone, and his idol would have been gone. Wouldn't have been such a bad thing. And
Yeah.
then you're right. That's eventually it is kind of started by Cirie, the dominoes fall to make that happen.
Yeah, honestly, like there's a lot to like about Cirie at the moment, just because, as you're saying, she is driving a lot of change. She was the split vote who's earlier in the season deciding which direction the majority needs to go in, despite the fact that she wasn't part of the majority. And, just having that say, yet at the same time, not having anyone essentially point a finger at you, or not having anyone see you as a threat. Actually, quite the opposite. Like this episode, she was sent to Exile Island while they were deciding teams between, I believe it was Natalie and James, or excuse me, not James, Jason.
Jason, yeah.
Yeah, Jason and Natalie were deciding teams. Cirie didn't end up getting taken, and ultimately ended up going to Exile Island. Which at this point, I mean, I feel like it's like, what's the point of it? Like if
For
everyone,
real.
like if there's like the hidden immunity idol, maybe after this next episode, like we don't see it again. But like I really hope we're kind of over and done with Exile Island at this point. It just feels like it's kind of a waste of time. But so yeah, going back to Cirie, she looks like she's in a good spot in the sense that she is driving things behind the scenes, but like no one's pointing the finger at her. Like she's not really taking any of the heat, at least so far. So, like when it comes time to the jury vote, she could be in pretty good standing, assuming she makes it that far.
For sure. I agree. She plays a lot of good plays, and she's quite charismatic.
I was
Agreed.
just like lover and confessional Cirie is also just hilarious.
She slays.
Whenever, yeah. Um, Also, like, she so in the beginning, in the first half of the game, the pre-merge is when you'd be worried about Cirie, because when you're targeting the weak people of a tribe, then Cirie's probably gonna come up. But now we're in the post-merge, where often the challenge threats are the targets, which, by the way, is another reason that Ozzy probably should have been playing more defense, like you said, F. Um, but Cirie, on the other hand, someone like her tends to not be a target because people have their eyes on the Ozzies of the world, the Jameses of the world. So that bodes well. Then again, the risk there is like, well, you if you're just in the background forever, then you have no respect. So, but I think Angie said, like, from the shadows, it's not all from the shadows. Like, I do like that Cirie is like, she talked in this episode, talked directly to the girls, to Parvati and Natalie and Alexis, to make that plan happen. Versus and they, in like another timeline, they're like, "Who does Cirie think she is, bossing us around? We're gonna take her out." Like, that could have happened. There's times where that happens, but they actually go with it. Um, so yeah, very impressive.
Honestly, and not to labor too long on Cirie, but her game reminds me a lot of Sandra's in that she was doing like the little things and kind of working behind the scenes, and it was just enough to get her to the end, right? Like, and I don't know if this is what it's being set up for, but at least like if you're looking at the season as it stands right now, she could be playing worse than this given her position, but like, she's having good episodes consistently in terms of where she's at. It's honestly good that people are underestimating her. I think that works to her advantage.
My biggest criticism is she doesn't have a number one ally, and really has never had a
Yes,
number one ally.
that is true.
Whereas a lot of other people seem to have had or still have someone they can like fully 100% trust. That's the one gap right now. So far,
Yeah, fair
she's
point.
been fine with that. She's overcome that. But that's the one thing I think I noticed um, about Suri. So the two challenges in this episode, the reward challenge was Bai Bai, and it was the teams of 4 facing each other. As you said, with that leaves one person left over who's sent to exile, which would be Suri. But the people that actually get to play, one at a time, they're gonna swim out to a platform, and to get there, there's kind of an obstacle course in the water, like while you're swimming and you're climbing up nets and rolling off of them. But eventually, you get to where you're going, and you're looking at this. It's like a matching puzzle, but what you're looking at is the correct solution. You're trying to remember it, and then you're gonna swim back, and now you're gonna try to create what you saw. And once you have remembered all you can, you send the next person out to go memorize more stuff. And eventually you have constructed it all, and then you call Jeff. If you're right, you win. If you're wrong, you gotta send somebody out there. And the teams were Amanda, Eric, Jason, and Ozzy against Alexis, Natalie, Parvati, and James. So, by the way, James once again with all the girls. Or at least only with the girls.
There was a
Uh,
there was a funny sequence I noticed there too with when they were picking up teams, and it's supposed to be the team leader picking. At least that's what Jason was doing. But I noticed that James was the one who ultimately picked Parvati for Natalie's team. That was supposed to be Natalie's pick, and who knows, she might not have picked Parvati. But I just thought that was funny that James was the one who made that decision.
yeah, I think like sometimes the way it works is like if you're the captain, you pick me, and then the next pick I pick somebody, and the next pick that person picks somebody. But then other times it's just the captain the whole way. So Jeff's a little inconsistent with that. Um, but it would be Jason's team that would win, and go to a village, the village on Yap, and they have a lot of the local villagers there. They get a huge feast. They watch everyone dancing. There's like the alcohol of some kind. They got like um the one nut that Eric describes as kind of like tobacco.
Oh man, that
Eric
was
getting high
funny.
off the supply.
Yeah.
Eric was very cute in all of this.
I know, he was like a little kid in a candy shop. He's just like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh." I was saying like he would do really well in Survivor China. He would have really
Kid
appreciated everything.
kid in a candy shop. I like that. That could be foreshadowing for something else in this episode.
Oh, yes. That was a great one, F. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just keep in mind these four people all nice and full because of a feast. Surely they won't be hungry for more stuff later. Surely.
Yes,
Surely.
surely they won't be
Uh,
describing how good that feast was and making everyone else jealous.
this th- this is a mistake. There's no excuse for anyone to make this mistake anymore. Like 15 seasons have passed for these people. Whether you're fans or not, it should be common sense. Don't brag about all the food you just had with the people who are starving.
For real. You would
They make it seem
it's
like
easy to make number 1 enemy, easily. Like,
Yeah, nothing to gain from doing that.
yeah, they make it seem like Ozzy is the worst of it. So if that made it worse for anybody, then like if that tipped the scales for somebody deciding, then bad on Ozzy. Um, Small moment two, what the other half that are at camp. The scene was a little out of place for me, but it's just like James, I guess, chopping wood or sharpening the knife while the girls are trying to sleep, and eventually Parvati's like, "There's three people trying to sleep here."
oh, yeah.
Like seriously, and James walks away, and James like essentially the nerve to even say anything to me when I've intending to defy. Because I guess he feels like while you have been sleeping, I've been making sure the fire doesn't go out during this rainstorm. But I mean, I
James
don't
is
know.
so short-tempered. He's like, "How dare you even talk to me?"
Yeah,
It's like, I get he's upset that he doesn't have sleep maybe and that he was tending the fire, but, like, my guy, please. It wasn't as deep as you think it is.
the best I can say is he walked away versus like getting into a fight or anything. But
That's true. Who was he gonna fight?
Yeah,
Parvati?
it's hard to like say anything at these moments because it's like I don't know if there's a right or wrong here. Like this is where you feel for the fact that these guys have been on an island for several days, are probably pretty hungry. So you know emotions are running high and they're getting cranky. So this is something where if you're like, okay, should I give the person the benefit of the doubt? This is one of those things where it's like, yeah, sure, give them the benefit of the doubt.
yeah, it was just weird to have. I mean, nothing really came of this scene in the episode, other than this is why I assume it was here that they don't tell James about their plans. So maybe it was like signaling that Parvati was stepping away from James, at least for this vote. This is the best. And by the way, you say several days on this island. This was days 25, 26, and 27. So almost
Yeah,
one
so like
month has
pretty
passed.
much a month.
Yep. Yep. Uh, the immunity challenge. Oh, sorry. Yes, the immunity challenge was called "When It Rains, It Pours." Very simple. You're gonna be standing with your arm above your head. Your wrist is tied to a bucket of water that's above you, and if your arm gets tired and drops too low, then you will pull the bucket down, and you will get soaked and are eliminated. On its own, very simple. I still like it. It does lack a little like pizzazz for me. But the extra twist is that Jeff will periodically appear with random foods and drink and tempt them to quit the immunity challenge to get the food or the drink or whatever it is.
Was a crazy twist. I didn't know that he could even do that. And I thought
This
nobody
was
will take it.
I love this challenge. This was such a troll challenge.
Yes.
Did you think nobody would take it, or did you think someone will take? Because I thought nobody's gonna take like anything. So I'm shocked that like people were
I feel
taking
like
the stuff.
yeah, it looks like having watched the modern seasons of Survivor, that would be the takeaway. But if this is where I was starting from, right? Like if this was the first season, like this is what I'm expecting. This is what I'm expecting people to be doing. That like you're so hungry that anything can help. And Eric again, kid in a candy shop. Him and
Kid in the
Cirie
candy shop,
decide
yeah.
when Jeff presents them a bowl of candy, they'll step off at the same time. They ask Jeff if it's okay. They decide if they step off at the same time, they'll both end up sharing that prize. And lo and behold, that's what they ultimately end up doing. And the other interesting part about this challenge was how many failures there were. Like the opportunity where Jeff could have presented something, but it's the person couldn't follow the exact rules needed for them to get that prize, even if they're disqualifying themselves. So it was a very entertaining challenge to follow. And it just best way I could summarize it, it's a troll challenge.
Are you okay with Jeff the troll being like, well, you didn't let me actually make the offer, therefore you will get nothing, Alexis.
He's not wrong, but I feel like if I was Alexis, I would be like ready to fight Jeff right then and there. Like I would be like throwing hands. Like I'm a pretty docile person for the most part. Like, I'd be getting cranky enough to the point where, no, Jeff, you're not going to keep me from this food.
That's funny.
It's wild. And then like Natalie, I think doesn't necessarily make a mistake, but just kind of like loses concentration. James, I think, was laughing too much, and he's like, oh no, and then this thing falls. Donuts.
Amanda was the funniest.
Yes. Oh, he's sorry. Yeah, that's right. Well, so but in chronological order, Ozzy
Yes.
leaves for donuts. Some I think chocolate frosted donuts. Three of them. I mean, they look big. They look nice. And yeah, Amanda eventually, suddenly, like Jeff looks like this must have because I think Jeff at regular intervals will stand up to do like it's been 3 hours and like so he looks good in the shot. But this was like Jeff is like sitting down, just like staring off into space, and then suddenly Amanda's like, Jeff, I think I'm done. And then he just kind of like realizes like, oh wait, what? And he's like, yep, I gotta use the bathroom.
I'm
And
like, girl, pee right now.
That was so crazy. She was like, what, in the final 3, held on
she
for
was.
like at this point hours, and then even without getting a prize, just left it.
Yeah, I would be like, no. I'm
It was
peeing
like
right
all
now.
of that for nothing.
And also, honestly, if she peed, nobody would notice. Like the camera would not have looked. And please, you were like blurred out 90% of the last season. It's okay, girl.
Maybe she was hoping there'd be
That's a very
one
good
more
point,
thing
actually.
offered. Yeah, maybe she was
So
hoping there'd be one more thing offered so she'd be able to take it, and then that'll be her excuse for going down. But then there were no more things as far as she knew, so she had no choice.
maybe she promised her mom that this year, or this season for sure, there's going to be no censor on me.
That's right.
Even though I think earlier she would have already broke that when they had that one herbal essence challenge with.
Yes. Um, and that leaves Parvati and Jason. Now remember, Jason, we know the audience is in grave danger, and he himself has verbalized, I think I'm gonna have to win every single challenge from here on out because I'm in trouble. He was talking to Eric. So you would think he would be doing everything he needs to do to win this. After like 6 something hours, Jeff comes out with like a random assortment of things. It's like I think it's also donuts and cookies and
Pizza and
like
beer.
Oh yeah, pieces there. It's just a bunch of random things. Like he probably just like found like leftovers from somewhere. It's like just give me everything. He made a call. Give me everything. I need to get them down because he probably was not expecting 6 hours to pass. To be honest.
It's a long time. You know what's funny? I was holding my arm up while I was watching it, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is fine." And then the more I was doing, like, "Okay, now I'm unwell. I don't want to keep doing this." No.
Yeah. So then neither Parvati nor Jason seems to be budging. Jeff does something weird. Like I don't know if he came up with this on the spot. He says like, if you step down, you get all of this, and everyone sitting down also gets to share it with you. So it's kind of like tempting you with food and the ability to give food to all these other people.
including the winner.
Uh, Actually, I don't know if he includes the winner. I forget. I think if you win, you wouldn't get it because otherwise, like, what would be the point of stepping down if I'm gonna get it anyway? If I don't step down,
Didn't we see the winner take some of the food too? Unless I'm
I
mistaken.
mean, maybe, but if so, that'd be bad because again, like, if in that case, why would I would need to step down. I'm gonna get the food regardless.
All right, this requires a second review on my part after we're done this
All
recording.
right, that's fine. That's fine. We'll fact check for you. But the point is that at first neither of them are stepping down, but it might have been Natalie that uh is like, "Oh, if you step down, we won't vote for you." And slowly but
Yes.
surely, each person, because Jason's like, "Well, that's just you. Like, I would need everybody to guarantee me that." And one by one, they all do say, like, "We will not vote for you, Jason, if you step down." And
I think starting with Cirie, interestingly enough, they start, putting their hands behind their backs and crossing their fingers as
the
though
old
to point
fingers
out,
crossed, yes.
yeah, as though to point out that yes, like you can't trust us. Like we're just saying this.
Well,
It's
as you
funny
know from
seeing
growing
them
up as
all
a kid,
do
of
that.
course. Yeah, like if your fingers are crossed behind your back, then that doesn't count as a lie. We all know this. Uh,
I
Low
know. Gotta
key,
check.
bad.
Check
So
hands.
okay, again, gotta ask the question. This is an easy question. If you were in his place, Jason's place, like it's been 6 hours, what do you do?
No, I'm not believing this. Like, they're offering me safety. Why don't I just win safety? What do you
For
want?
real. And also, why
You're
don't
not.
you ask Parvati?
Yeah, he never
That's
really
true.
countered it.
That's true. That's a very good point. But the reason I'm presenting this question for Jason is we also don't know if Parvati flat out could have just beaten him. So if he decided not to do it and would have just lost anyway, right? Then they just lose like that food. Again, if it doesn't matter if Jason ultimately does end up getting eliminated regardless, but the reason I'm asking is like, does that thought go into your head? Like, do you even consider it that like, okay, maybe I'm hungry. Even though I actually, in Jason's case, he actually won. He was part of the group that won the last challenge. It would have been like especially bad if he didn't. So I think in terms of just like really wanting to win the challenge, maybe Parvati just had, like bigger goals because he's like, oh, I'm hungry and I need to do something to at least protect myself. Whereas for Jason, obviously the pressure is I need to win every challenge because I'm not part of a majority. But I think if I was in Jason's shoes, I'm not ultimately going to do it, but I would consider it. Like I would legitimately take like quite some time to consider it because it's 6 hours, man. Like it's crazy to think that I've been doing this for 6 hours.
I understand. I
But what if
understand.
it's 6 hours? But what if it's like 20 more minutes and you have a chance to go?
But that's the thing. I don't know that, right? Like I might not even mentally be thinking that. I might be pretty mentally checked out at that point.
I don't know. Six
Honestly,
hours is
it's
crazy. What are you even doing? Like, I can't even sit still for 20 minutes without feeling I'm gonna go bash my head somewhere.
yeah, it's
It's
like a
like that
slightly different version of when we see people try to negotiate, like, oh, just step down and like they make a deal. It's similar to that. And just like in that situation, I just think it's like the person that is asking you to do it is probably gonna lose soon.
Yeah.
And Parvati does push Jason to accept this, and Jason never tries to push her to do it. And unbelievably, Jason agrees, and he lets himself lose, and so Parvati wins immunity. And Jason does say like he hopes. I mean, he did with this act. He is giving all the people more food, so maybe they'll appreciate that. We fast forward like to the next scene. Turns out they do not appreciate this, and they all intend to just vote him out anyway. So very sad for
Yeah.
Jason, and that is what would have happened if not for Cirie starting the chain of events that we've already spoken about. Um, but it also takes Parvati to be okay with it. I mean, Parvati could have decided that, like, well, I don't need to go against my ally Ozzy. I could keep him here. Without that, it wouldn't have been good enough, and then Cirie would be stuck because, like, she would have voted against them. But everyone agrees that part of this, and so, uh, at Tribal Council, it is 4 votes for Jason, which was from Ozzy, James, Amanda, and Eric. So Eric voting with Ozzy. But everybody else, Alexis, Cirie, Jason, Natalie, and Parvati, all voting for Ozzy. Ozzy does not play his idol, and Ozzy is eliminated. Now here is where big decision time. Do you want to see Ozzy again?
Ooh, that's hard.
It's
Ah,
yeah, I would say no. It's just
ooh.
he's a good player, don't get me wrong. It just seems weird to have to keep seeing the same player over and over again. Like I said, I would much rather just see someone new, someone else get that opportunity. Just because for me, Survivor's fun to see, like the variety in the game, right? And if you're seeing someone keep returning over and over again, it loses some of the magic that you see with the contestant because you already know what they're about. You know what part of their goals are. And it just becomes a question of like, are we just going to keep seeing them until they win eventually? I don't know.
Mm. Oof. I kind of, because in his defense, I feel like he's playing the same, like, I'm Poseidon, I'm the cooker, I'm the cook, I'm the like, the hunter, the gatherer, everything, but he also did try to be more playable. Like, I feel like the first time we watched him, he didn't have a whole lot of social game. Like, he's the one climbing on trees, catching stuff, hoping that people will keep him, and end up getting Yule, and then that's how they stayed. They ended up being the people that had only the 4 people left and just pushed through and had a great game. This one, I see him trying to take more of a leadership role, which is different, and I appreciate that. And I feel like I come to appreciate players that come back and not play the same person and play a different character, play a different role in the game depending on who they're with. Their game is different than another season's game because it's a very dynamic game where it changes depending on who you're playing with. So I actually would want to see him back to see what he's going to do this time. Like, are we going to change? Are we not? And if it's the same, then yeah, we're done. But I would be down to see him again or to see, like, is he still Poseidon 10, 20 years after? Like, what's going on with him? I'll be down to see him again.
Interesting. And of course, now you had seen his original season, but if this had been the first time you saw him, do you think you would have been intrigued about his original season?
Yeah,
Mm.
I would. Yeah. I think he's played a pretty good game. It just his overconfidence cost him, but otherwise, like you can see the clear threat there. And if I recall, I did mention in the original season that yeah, I would like to see Ozzy return. Like he's pretty entertaining. But it's just now that I've seen him return, do I want to see him return again? No. No, I think there's a limit to how many times I would want to see someone return.
Based off this episode this season without seeing prior, I would want to. I want to see how he was. It would be the same thing how I would say now is like I want to see how he was in the other season. I'm just curious because he's probably like I would assume he taken this leadership role. People are scared of him. He's probably very charismatic, getting all the girls, which he did not. In the other season, he did
Very
not do
true.
that. It was very
Yes.
different. So this is what I would assume, but I'll be very surprised how it was not like that and how he was just a monkey climbing up stuff, getting coconuts and just doing his own thing.
Yep. And being a challenge beast, which he definitely was in this season, but it just turned out in the sample size of 2 individual immunity challenges, he lost the first one and gave up in the second one. Not in exactly the way to quitting, but just he was that confident, so he didn't feel like he needed to win immunity. With that, we go to winner picks, and I'm afraid you did not switch from Ozzy fast enough, and so you
I
have
can only
now.
blame F. Gosh dang it, F. I'm kidding.
You should join the dark side.
Well, so that leaves you with your only remaining winner pick left, which is Amanda. So the question is, will you stick with Amanda for another 2 episodes, or will you be switching to one of the other remaining castaways?
I'm gonna switch this time. I'm gonna switch to
Oh,
Parvati.
okay.
Because I'm worried without Ozzy, Amanda may be shaky. And I'm a little nervous about Amanda's time here. She's not as close as she was with Parvati, and she lost her number 1, Ozzy. Her and James were never that tight, so that's hard. So I fear Amanda is no longer top. It would be Parvati. It's my winner pick.
This actually never came up at all, but like in this season, and I don't know if it will come up in this season, but Amanda did like begin the chain of events that got James voted out in the first place. So I do wonder if like does James resent that at
Oh.
all? It has not at all come up so far.
I don't even
but
think James knows.
That's true. I guess it depends if they wouldn't have seen that episode yet. So I guess maybe not. That's fair. F, you still have both of your winner picks, which are
Must be nice.
Eric
No, I'm kidding.
and Parvati. Do you wish to switch from either Eric or Parvati?
I think for now, no, but Cirie is someone I'm keeping an eye out for. It seems like I said, like she is making some good moves, and she's making moves that are actually affecting the game so far. But as we saw with Parvati the last 2 episodes where everything looked good for her, and these 2 episodes, the consistency isn't there from those 2 batches of episodes to these 2 batches. The same could happen for Cirie, so I think for now I'll stand pat. But it's unlikely I'll change them. I think Eric, so far, the pressure has been off him. Like, that would have been very troublesome if for whatever reason they didn't get into a post-merge setting. He very likely would have been the next person eliminated. Parvati, honestly, I've been unsure about this whole time, but I'm just kind of going off of the observation that I had in the other season where someone was talking about how Parvati plays the game.
Do you think Eric will have like a new idol now that Ozzy's gone, or is he ready to blossom into his own thing?
Well, I hope he's ready to blossom into his own thing, but if he needs a new idol, he's probably going to want to start getting buff like James.
Maybe. I mean, he could choose. I mean, Jason he can go with Jason if he wanted to. But then again, Jason is the reason one of the reasons that Ozzy's gone. So
that feels weird because I'm pretty sure, aren't they like the same age? Like, at least with Ozzy, even though there wasn't that much of like an age gap, like Ozzy is older than him. Him and Jason, I'm pretty sure, are the same age. Which, I mean, it doesn't mean you can't idolize them. It just, generally you're looking at that like mentor-like relationship. It generally is someone older. And
Someone with more
honestly,
experience.
these last 2 episodes, Jason seems very gullible.
I looked it up for you. Jason, 1 year older.
Oh, okay. Well, yes. I mean, yeah, he could be, but it's just, I hope not. I feel like that would be a negative because, yeah, Jason seems very gullible.
All right, very good. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. And just picture it now as we move through the merge. What we thought was a favorite's advantage. Well, for better, I mean, and I don't know if you agree with the decisions made, but the end result is 4 favorites: Amanda, James, Cirie, and Parvati, against 4 fans: and Eric, Jason, Natalie, and Alexis. 4
Yeah,
versus 4. Who
I'm
will
I'm like
survive?
liking the season so far. It has been slowly getting better and better for me.
I think I just like someone's trying to do something every episode. Like there's no episodes where
Yeah,
no one's trying. Like I'm not saying it's gonna work every time, but some scheme is trying to get done every episode so far.
true.
With that, we will end this week's episode of the Island Life podcast. Thank you all for tuning in, and join us next time as we continue Fans versus Favorites for episodes 11 and 12. But until then, and until we speak again,